Hi, this is Tina from the future. While I was looking at the recording of the last class, I noticed that there was a lot of crackling, especially at the beginning of class. Hopefully I have all the sound issues figured out. It's been quite the journey. So anyway, I thought I would re-record the beginning of the class for you. So let's begin seated today. Any comfortable seated position for you. See if you can find your sits bones, that comfortable place to sit. So you're sitting up nice and tall. I find it helps to place something underneath the sits bones, either a folded blanket, a block, a pillow. I sit taller at least. If you haven't already, lowering or closing your eyes. Notice the sensation of your breath. See if you can take deep inhales in through your nose, into your diaphragm, and long, slow exhales out. In today's class, we are doing a moon salutation. Since the full moon is going to be here in a few days, the time of the full moon is a good opportunity to release anything that doesn't serve you, to let go of anything that is standing in your way. So I invite you here on your exhales. See if you can let go of all the air. Maybe you sigh it out. Maybe you just breathe it out through your nose. Still making sure your exhale is longer than your inhale. Releasing all the breath. And letting go. Letting go of your day, your week, and letting go of any expectations for today's class. Remember, we come here together to make shapes. Our shapes may look different from each other, and that's perfectly normal. So we don't want to judge ourselves and compare ourselves to others. Each one of our practices is unique. As we go through class today, remember to listen to your body. Only do what's comfortable for you. I will try to offer some modifications. But if a pose doesn't feel good for you in your body, please feel free to come out, take a rest, and join us again whenever you're ready. So taking 2 more rounds of breath. And then once that's complete for you, opening the windows of your eyes. All right, let's start with just some gentle movement here, some torso circles. So maybe they're big circles, little circles, whatever feels right for you. Just kind of feel into your body and notice if there's tension anywhere. Maybe you're able to find a stretch in that part of you. Maybe you hold the stretch there, or maybe you continue to move. Perhaps you go in the opposite direction. All right, and then let's come back to center. And we'll place the right hand on the earth, left palm faces up towards the sky, allowing your arm to reach up and over. That left shoulder rolls back and down the spine and come over just as far as you feel comfortable. You might walk your hand away, you might come down on your forearm, whatever feels good for you, finding a stretch here along the left side of the body. Inhale, coming back to center, and exhale, coming over to the other side. Shoulder rolls back and down your spine. Inhaling back to center, releasing your right arm down by your side. Okay, so let's find some shoulder rolls. Inhale, shoulders come up towards your ears. Exhale, shoulders roll back and down your spine. So this is where we want our shoulders to be anytime our arms are overhead or we have our hands on the earth and we're putting weight into our hands. Okay. So from here, let's come into a tabletop pose. Wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. And then we'll find some movement here. So perhaps let's start with C shapes. So allowing your hips to come over towards the right side, looking over your right shoulder towards your hip. And then inhale, coming back to center, and exhale, coming over to the other side. And just moving here with your own breath at your own pace. And then maybe you find some other movements in your body. Maybe it's cat cow. Maybe you move in and out of child's pose. Maybe it's just random shapes. Okay, we're going to find a child's pose here. Big toes together, perhaps the knees come apart, sitting your hips back as far as you feel comfortable, arms coming long. If your head doesn't make it all the way to the earth, maybe you find a block or stacked fist to come underneath your forehead. Soften and release any tension that you feel in your body. If you wish, maybe saying to yourself, I release that which is not mine. I release that which is not mine. So we're going to walk our hands over towards the right side. Maybe left hand reaches away a little further, melt the left side body down towards the earth. I release all obstacles to my path. I release all obstacles to my path. Walking your hands through center and over towards the other side. Maybe the right hand walks away a little further, melting the right side body down. I release limiting beliefs. I release limiting beliefs. Gently walking your hands back to center. We're going to come into tabletop. Okay, and then we'll come into a low lunge here. Right foot steps forward. Right knee is over ankle in line with the second or third toe. Maybe your hands remain on the earth or on blocks. Sink and settle your hips. If you wish, squeezing the inner thighs, arms reach up towards the sky, shoulders roll back and down the spine. Maybe you sink a little further. Notice what's going on with your hips. We want to square the hips towards the short edge of the mat. So right hip maybe rolls back, left hip rolls forward. Okay, hands come down towards the earth. We're going to switch over to the other side. So tabletop, left foot comes forward. Again, maybe you take a few breaths here with your hands on the earth or on blocks. Perhaps you squeeze the inner thighs to rise. So as we have our hands up towards the sky, we kind of want to turn our hands so that we kind of turn the pinkies in. So our hands are not necessarily parallel. Parallel, yes. We want to turn them slightly in. So that helps our shoulders to kind of drop down the spine a little bit. You can kind of play with it a little if you want. Notice what happens to your shoulders. Okay, hands come down towards the earth. Let's come into tabletop. Curling the toes under, downward dog. Perhaps you walk out your dog. Sending your hips up and back behind you. Find any movements here that feels good for you and your body. Okay, let's walk our feet up towards our hands, or hands towards the feet. Forward fold. Feet are about hip distance apart, arms dangle if you want. Maybe you clasp opposite elbows, sway from side to side. So release tension in your neck. I release fears and doubts. I release fears and doubts. Okay, allowing your hands to come towards your hips, lengthen your spine and coming up with a flat back. Ooh, kind of out of the screen a little bit. Okay, so finding your mountain pose near the top of your mat, we're going to go over a couple of poses that we're going to be doing today. We've done a lot of these in the last few weeks, so I'll just go over the ones that we haven't really done very much of. Okay, so we're going to come into a pyramid pose. So in our pyramid pose, we'll step the right foot back. So it's kind of like a warrior one stance. Toes point up towards the top right corner of the mat. We want wide stance, right foot to the right side, left foot to the left. But we want to straighten that front leg, just a micro bend in the knee. So hips square towards the front of the mat or the short edge. I have to stop saying front and back because we're going to be moving around. Okay. So inhale to lengthen your spine and exhale, hinging from the hips, folding forward. Hands can come wherever's comfortable. Perhaps you just go as far as your thigh. Just don't touch the knee. Maybe your hands come lower on your body, perhaps towards blocks or the earth. And then again, check that left hip. Often it rolls out to the side. We want to roll it back. Softening your neck. If you're folded right over, tucking your chin in towards our bodies to relax when we tuck the chin in. Continue breathing here. I release relationships that no longer serve my higher good. I release relationships that no longer serve my higher good. Okay, one more round of breath here. And then we're going to slightly bend into the front knee. Arms reach up towards the sky as you come up, and hands come down to your hips, stepping forward. And then we'll come over to the other side, left foot back, right foot forward. Right hip rolls back. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold. So again, listen to your body. We don't want to go 100% of the way in our yoga poses because then we risk injury. So we really only want to go maybe 80%. Perhaps you tuck the chin in, telling the body to soften. Release any tension in your shoulders, in your face. Okay, slight micro bend in your front knee. Windmill your arms up to standing. Hands come down, step forward. Okay, next pose we're going to practice, and then we're going to put everything together, is going to be a half moon pose. So this will be an option. It's not something that's part of the flow. It's kind of to add into the flow if you want to do it, if you want a little bit more challenge. So I like to use a block. And the way we're going to do it is, when do we come into it? All right, so we come into it from a triangle. So let's step the right foot back. Right foot comes parallel to the short edge of the mat. Left foot turns forward. So imagine we did a triangle. We've been practicing lots of triangles in the last little while, so we'll skip that. So arms will come back up. We're going to bend into the front knee, and then we're going to reach forward. So maybe you grab a hold of the block, or maybe your hand comes to the earth. So we want to bring the hand in front of the foot and to the left, or the block. Okay, shift into the right foot. Left foot comes up off the earth, and we want to square our hips towards the long edge of the mat. Maybe the right hand reaches up towards the sky. Woo! Find a place to focus on. I turned my gaze and I lost it. Okay, so keeping a slight micro bend in the left knee, don't lock it out. Okay, and then we're slowly going to bend into that front knee and step the right foot back. Okay, we're going to come over to the other side. So if you want, we'll just turn this way on the mat, or however you can see me. So left foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Ooh, right foot intersects with the middle of the left. So same thing, we're gonna bend into that front knee. We're gonna reach the right hand forward and to the right. Maybe you step that left foot in a little bit before you come up, squaring the hips towards the side of the mat. Find a place to focus on that isn't moving. So again, if you're like, I don't like this pose, it will just be an option. I used to hate this pose, and then I used to teach it constantly so that I got used to it. Okay, slowly bending into that right knee and slowly stepping the left foot back. Ooh. All right. So here's how the moon flow works. We're going to start up on, I'm going to call this the top of the mat, but we're going to start up at the side of the mat facing sideways so that when you step out with your right foot, you'll be able to see me. Okay. So finding your mountain at the top, or yeah, we'll say the top of the mat, but sideways here. I'm moving my screen because I'm not quite in the screen, at least not where I see it. Okay, so we're gonna start a mountain pose. So squeezing the inner thighs towards center, shoulders roll back and down the spine. Okay. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky, shoulders roll back and down. So it's up to you. You can keep your arms the way they are, or if you wish, or you can't see them, you can bring your hands together, pointer fingers together, clasping the rest of the fingers. As long as your shoulders can be back and down your spine. Okay, squeeze the inner thighs. And then on your exhale, reaching over towards the right side. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, reach over towards the left side. Inhale back to center, squeeze the inner thighs, and if you wish, opening your up towards the sky. Gentle back bend. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the arms and take a big step out with the right foot. Okay, so we're going to come into a goddess pose. See, we've done some of these already. So toes point out towards the top corners of the mat, and then sitting your hips down, slight tuck of your tailbone, perhaps finding cactus arms. Okay, we're going to reach up, straighten the legs, star pose. Left foot comes parallel to the short edge of the mat, turning the right foot. We'll find our triangle here. So just a micro bend in the right knee, reach with the front hand. And then right hand comes wherever, thigh, maybe the shin, a block, or the earth. Imagine there's a wall behind you. Your head, shoulders, and hips are to come up against that wall. Okay, slight micro bend in the right knee, windmilling the arms back up. Okay, and then we're gonna windmill our hands towards the front of the mat and start walking the right foot over. We're gonna set up for pyramid pose. So left foot comes to the earth, toes point up towards the top left corner of the mat. Right foot points forward. We're gonna come up to standing and know that if it feels really uncomfortable here, you can always step that back foot in. Okay, inhale to lengthen your spine and exhale to fold. So your variation of pyramid here, roll the right hip back. One more round of breath. And then squeeze the inner thighs, lift the arms up towards the sky. Okay, and again, hands come down towards the earth. We're gonna come into a low lunge. Back knee comes to the earth. Right knee is over the right ankle. Squeeze the inner thighs to rise. Okay, hands come down towards the earth. Curl the back toes under, squeeze the inner thighs, come up into a high lunge, and then make your way over so that feet are parallel to the sides of the mat. Okay, we're going to shift our weight over towards the left side. You may have to turn the toes out, side squat. So maybe you're high, maybe you're kind of low or somewhere low. We're not going to come all the way down in this one because we're going to add on to it. Inhale back to center, exhale, maybe you turn the toes out, side squat on the right side, send the hips back. Inhale, come back to center, turning the feet so they're parallel to the sides of the mat. Left foot steps in towards the right. And then make your way over towards that short edge of the mat. Okay, other side. We'll do the other side and then we'll start adding on stuff. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, bending over towards the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center, squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale, maybe you find a slight back bend. Inhale to center. Exhale, step out. Turn your toes. Find your goddess. So maybe you sink a little further in this goddess pose. Find a slight tuck of the tailbone. Okay, pushing your feet into the earth, arms reach high. And then we're going to find a triangle pose. Right foot's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Left foot turns forward. Slight micro bend in the left knee. Reach with that front arm. Find your triangle. So again, maybe you're up high, wherever it's comfortable for you. So maybe your gaze comes up to the top hand, to your right hand. If it's uncomfortable for your neck, you can look down. Really, you can look wherever it feels good. Okay. Slight micro bend in that left knee, windmill your arms back up. We're going to start to move our feet so that we could pivot ourselves. Maybe you windmill the hands down towards the earth, set up for pyramid. Right toes point up towards the top right corner of the mat. Come on up, square your hips. And then exhale, folding forward. Left hip rolls back. On your next inhale, windmilling your arms back up once again. And then exhale, hands come down to the earth, come into low lunge, right knee to the earth, left knee over left ankle. Squeeze the inner thighs as you rise. Hands come down to the earth, come up on the back toes, lift the back knee, squeeze the inner thighs. We're gonna turn our feet, make our way over to a squat on the right side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, making your way into a squat on your left side. Inhale back to center, stepping your right foot in to meet the left. All right, we're gonna add on, but is there any questions before we get going? I'm gonna pause just in case. All right. So we're at the side of the mat. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, arms come over towards the right side. Perhaps you shift your weight into your left foot. Right foot comes out towards the side. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, arms come to the left side. Maybe you shift into your right foot, left foot comes up to the side. Inhale, back to center, squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale, maybe you find a back bend. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, stepping the right foot out, finding your goddess pose. Okay, options here for goddess pose. If eagle arms are available to you, then finding eagle arms. If not, you can keep cactus arms. So we'll start right arm out in front, left arm over top, bending the elbows. Maybe the backs of the hands come together. Maybe you clasp the hands. Elbows come to shoulder height, hands away from your face. Relax your shoulders. All right, next one. Maybe you try, come up on your toes. Maybe you sink a little further. Send the tailbone down. Maybe you drop the heels, push into your feet, unravel. Left foot comes parallel to the short edge of the mat. Right foot points forward. We'll call it forward triangle pose. Reaching towards the right side. Left hand comes down. All right, so imagining that wall behind you. And then if you wish to add something here, perhaps you bring both hands towards the short edge of your mat. Using your core to hold you up. Inhale, windmilling your arms back up. We're going to start to move our feet so that we can position ourselves here in warrior one stance, but we straighten that front leg. Okay. All right, so if you wish, maybe you clasp your hands behind you in this pose. Shoulders roll back and down your spine, or hands can come wherever you wish. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Roll the right hip back. Inhale, coming back up. Release the hands. Windmilling the hands towards the earth, come down into a low lunge. Squeeze the inner thighs. So from here, let's bring the left hand either to the low back or towards the left thigh. Right palm turns back. Find a slight tuck of your tailbone and then open your heart up. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, we're going to switch. Right hand comes down to the side. Left hand comes up towards the sky. And then we're going to reach over towards the right side. Back to center, both arms. Exhale, hands come down towards the earth. We're going to come up on our back toes. You know what? We missed the half moon. We'll do it on the other side. All right. And then you're going to make your way into a side squat. So turning the feet, coming over towards the left side. So stay maybe up high or kind of low, or maybe you find a twist. So right hand is going to come to the front of the right shin. If you're up high, it'll come to the outside of the thigh. And then you're going to turn towards the left. Left hand reaches up towards the sky. If you're up high, left hand will reach back behind you. Okay, release this here. Make your way over into a side squat towards the right side. Maybe you find a twist. Left hand to left thigh or shin. Right arm opens up towards the sky. You have the option to slide that left hand down more towards your ankle or foot if you wish. Release here. Come back into, say, a star pose, turning the feet, stepping towards the right foot. All right, other side. Inhale, extended mountain. And exhale, arms come over towards the right side. Shift the weight into the left, right foot comes out to the side. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, arms to the left side. Shifting the weight into the right foot, left foot comes out towards the side. Remember, all these are just options. Whoa. Inhale, back to center, squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale, maybe you find a back bend. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release the arms, step out, wide legs, and then find your goddess pose. Send the tailbone down, knees come back, cactus arms. If you want to find eagle arms on this side, left arm comes out, right arm over top. Elbows are shoulder height, relax the shoulders, hands away from your face. Maybe you come up on your toes. If you want to add one more level here, perhaps you start to hinge from your waist, folding forward, trying to stay up on the toes. Come down as far as you feel comfortable. On your next inhale, coming back up. Drop the heels, release the arms. Let's find our triangle here. So right foot's parallel to the short edge of the mat. Slight micro bend in your left knee. Reaching with the left arm, find triangle. And again, either staying here or perhaps you reach both arms towards the short edge of the mat. Inhale, windmilling your arms back up. We're going to find our half moon here. So left hand reaches forward. Maybe you find a block, maybe you don't. And to the left, hand comes forward and to the left. Maybe you walk the right foot in a little bit, shift onto your left foot. And again, we want to imagine there's that wall behind us, kind of like when we're in our triangle pose. So try not to lock out the left knee. Slightly bending into that left knee, step the right foot back. We're going to find this on the other side. So if you're using a block, bring it with you. We're going to set up kind of like our triangle pose here on this side. Left foot's parallel to the short edge of the mat. We're going to reach forward. Right hand comes down and to the right. And then shift your weight forward. So we want to try and keep the toes facing towards the short edge of the mat, the right toes. That's where I want to turn my feet. All right, leave your block there. If you have it, let's take a big step back. We're going to find our high lunge towards the right. Nope, high lunge towards the left. Sorry. All right, so if you want, you can find your twist, or perhaps you come into a low lunge, low side lunge. So right toes point up towards the right. Maybe you find a balance here, hands come to heart center. We're going to release here and we're going to make our way over, however it feels comfortable for you, over towards the right side. Find your side lunge, side squat. If you've come low, activate the left foot. Okay, we're going to come up. If you're on a low lunge, come up, high lunge, bring that left foot down, step the right foot in. And that is our moon salutation. All right, let's come down onto the floor. Let's come into seated. And let's find a seated twist today. So feet are however is comfortable for you. Sitting up nice and tall. I changed my mind. Sorry, let's bring the right foot out, left foot in. Find your sits bones. And then crossing the left foot over the right thigh. If it's comfortable for you, if your foot comes to the earth, if not, leave the foot on the inside. Okay, so maybe you stay here, or if it's in your body and both sits bones come to the floor, maybe the right foot tucks under. We're going to bring the left hand to the earth behind us. Right arm's going to come around that front knee. Inhale to lengthen your spine. We're going to turn in 4 parts. Exhale, turning from your waist. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, turning from the low ribs. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, turning the shoulders. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, turning the head. So maybe your right arm stays wrapped around that front leg. Which leg is it? The left leg? Or maybe you bring the outside of the right elbow to the outside of that front knee to help you find a little more height and maybe turn a little bit more. With every inhale, lengthen the spine. And with every exhale, maybe you turn a little more. Maybe you just imagine that you're turning. I release attachment to outcomes. I release attachment to outcomes. Inhale to lengthen your spine, and exhale to come forward. We're going to uncross the legs, maybe give the legs a good shake. Right knee comes in, right foot to the earth, find your sits bones. Perhaps you cross the right foot over. Perhaps you cross the left foot under. Left forearm around that front knee, find length in your spine, right hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, turning from the waist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning from the low ribs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turning the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, turning your head. Notice if there's a difference from one side to the other. Maybe it's easier to turn in this direction, or maybe you don't go as far. Again, option for the outside of the left elbow to come to the outside of that front leg. I release pain and suffering as a means to growth. I release pain and suffering as a means to growth. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, come back to center. Uncrossing the legs, give them a good shake. All right, let's come down onto the earth, onto our back body. All right, so your choice. Either you can find a bridge or maybe it's a moving bridge. So either way, feet are on the earth, knees are bent, feet are about hip distance apart. Arms come down by the sides. All right, we'll just find a couple rounds of moving bridge to begin. So pushing your feet into the hips, lift into the hips, into the earth, lift your hips, squeeze your inner thighs. Maybe the arms come up and back behind you, fingernails to the earth. And then as you exhale, everything comes back down. Inhale to lift, arms come back, and exhale to lower. Maybe once you find a few of those, if it's in your body, finding a bridge pose. Pushing your feet into the earth, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes. If it's in your body, rolling your shoulders underneath you, clasp your hands, shoulders roll back and down your spine. I release the fact that we forgot a pyramid pose on the one side. Oh well, you won't leave lopsided, I promise. Couple more rounds of breath here, wherever you are. Whenever you're ready, if you're in a bridge pose, untuck your shoulders, slowly roll back down. Arms come back down by our sides, feet come wide on the mat, windshield wipering the knees from side to side, release any tension in the low back. Once you feel like you are ready, making your way into Shavasana or any other resting pose that feels good for you on the earth. Once you find a comfortable place, returning to your breath, taking deep inhales in through your nose, into your diaphragm. And as you exhale, let go of all the air. Sometimes it helps to sigh it out. Releasing tension, especially in your face, in your jaw, in your shoulders, and in your hips. With every exhale, maybe you soften a little more into the earth. Perhaps this is your opportunity to release, let go of anything in your life that is no longer serving you, that is no longer making you happy, that is no longer needed. Whatever it may be, on your exhale, let it go. And gently bringing your awareness back into the room. Finding any movements here that your body is calling for. And then, whenever you're ready, rolling over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. And gently making your way up to seated. And once you get there, lowering or closing your eyes. The light in me sees and honors the light in each and every one of you. That light is a place of peace, love, kindness, and gratitude. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, there is no distance and no difference between us. Together, we are the same. We are one. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful evening.